On today's video, let's talk about the VIP shop. After the Geared Up update, this got a revamp, and in this video, we're gonna go over what you should and what you should not get out of the VIP shop. There is a new pitfall, a new trap in the shop that you should be aware of, and also everything you need to know so you can make the best decision based on your account, your gem count, what you want to achieve, and everything along the way, what you should get out of the VIP shop, especially during a More Than Gems event, and if you're trying to do it on a regular basis, what you should focus on. We're going to go over every single category of items, and we'll see how it works. So sit back, smash a like on the video. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. The VIP shop is something I spent quite a lot of time in the last few days as we had a More Than Gems pop up. We're out of gems. We had 50,000 gems go out the drain for two different accounts in two different levels in the game, and then I realized we should probably talk about the VIP shop and what kind of decisions we're making. Before we start though, I'm a sponsored content creator. Whereas if you enjoy the content, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. This week we have a lot of War Kingsland content coming into the channel, JWM stuff, Lost Kingdom 1 stuff, and much more. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that out. Very quickly, if you don't know what the VIP shop is, the VIP shop is a section of the gem shop, which offers you a certain amount of limited quantity of certain items for a discount. The higher your VIP level is, the more items you have available to buy. If we go really quickly to a lower level VIP account, you'll notice that all of these items are locked. For VIP 15 only, 17, 14, 13, so forth and so on. So you can kind of get a peek at what comes out of which level, and we're not going to go into too much detail anymore beyond what you're seeing right here, just because we want to talk more about what you should and shouldn't get based on having a majority of the shop unlocked, and even at a VIP level 8, for example, whether or not it's already worth it for you to go for something like the epic chests. And so this account is VIP 6. It already unlocks this part right here, and this for the equipment. It unlocks teleports. It unlocks the 1 hour speed ups. We also have the cavalry equipment and a bunch of the material stuff. And so let's go back to my account, the big account in JWM, and go over each category, figure out how this is worth it or not. The first category is the resources category. Every single item with resources in here is worth getting if you need it. 99% of you are going to need basic AP potions, so getting the 3,000 potions, 30 potions, 3,000 AP for 360,000 food is amazing. Every single one of us dreams of buying time with corn, right? When you're buying 5 minutes worth of time for resources, you can gather enough resources to get all the 5-minute speed ups and all the basic potions with 2 marches on a level 6 food tile. I think that you can even do it with 1, but just to make sure, get those 2. You can actually get all the shop, I believe, with 2. The next thing everybody's gonna need no matter what are material choice chests. Why not? You're crafting equipment at all time, keep getting them. It's 50 of them for 500,000 food. It is worth it. The not worth it-ish is for someone like me. All the epics are expertise. I have over 4,000 epic stars. I don't see a reason to drop 1.2 million food on stars that I will never ever need at this point. No new epic commanders. Rest in peace. Ugh. From there though, the dazzling starlight sculptures, I have over 1,500 worth of these, and I still pick them up every week because they're super useful and they're worth the resources. So in the resource department, you're better off getting everything. You can skip on these if you don't need them, but you're really better off getting everything for resources, and it's only food and wood down here. The next category we're going to look at is speed ups. Speed ups are one of the nicest things you can get in the game, no matter what time. You're essentially converting gems into time, and time is what rules this game. You're training troops, you're healing, you're researching, you're building. That's what dictates it, time. So the time category is always nice to get. If you're someone who has an abundance of gems and you're looking to advance quicker, to have more of that ability to quickly heal, train, do whatever you want to do, you can buy every single speed up in here, and it's not the worst deal on earth. Now, the best deals out of this shop would be the 1 day speed up for 600 gems and the 8 hours for 240 gems. After that, the 1 hour for 50 is still okay, but you're definitely going to see some of these in the courier station for a much bigger discount. So this is okay. These are definitely nice to get if you have the extra gems to do so. And the 5-minute speed ups, of course, if you're already getting the 1 hour, the 5-minute speed ups is kind of the same concept. So in terms of speed ups, consider if you are someone who needs to get through your tier 4 researches quicker to get to tier 5s and get those done. If you're someone who has to train a good amount of troops coming up in your mightiest governor for a new commander, if you're someone who's going to be in Kingsland very soon and needs more healing speed ups, that's the kind of people who should consider getting the speed ups. Now, that shouldn't necessarily be your first priority. There is going to be a list of priorities in this video, but if you're someone who fits one of those categories, the speed ups are one choice for you. The next category in here would be the resources. Now, I know people who buy all the resources out of this store every single week. I know some folks who just, their gathering is not enough compared to what they need, and they supplement with gems. Personally, I think that if you're someone who has a little bit of extra time, and I don't even have that much of an extra time and I still have one, having a farm gathering twice as much usually tends to be somewhere within reasonable. And then, of course, if you're someone who spends a lot and that's why you train a lot, you'll have the resources from buying the packs. And so it evens it out. Like, I personally don't get resources out of here. I used to, a long time ago, supplement a little bit of my mightiest governor if I needed to spend like 100 and 200 gems. I'd buy 2 of these and that's that. I don't recommend getting resources out of here. However, it is an open choice. You can, for 4,600 gems, get 6 million gold. There are people out there who see 4,600 gems worth 6 million gold. That is completely fine. That is the lowest one of my priorities in here, but it is on the priority list. The next category of things we're going to talk about is materials. Materials, it doesn't matter what level you're in, will always come in handy. Now, come in handy means that you're at a point where your gems right now have stopped serving you in multitude of other ways, and you're using them in order to serve your equipment thinking, your equipment stuff, right? Having your equipment. When I was building up for tier 5s, I was getting the speed ups all the time, but I wasn't getting the commander sculptures, for example, or I wasn't even getting resources, but I was definitely getting the 24 hours, or at the time I think I only had the 8 hours and the 1 hours every single day, every single week. And that was because of where I was. Now that I'm past that level where I have a substantial amount of speed ups that I don't really need to spend my gems on them at this point, I'm spending my gems on equipment materials. Now, equipment materials will always come in handy, because at some point you're going to want to upgrade your account a little bit more, upgrade your equipment a little bit more. One day you will get to that legendary Shio's return, which it took you 2 KVKs to get that 1 blueprint, but in that time, to get the amount of legendary equipment you need is tough. By spending some gems in here, you can get these, and I think this is not a bad choice. As you can see, I picked them up. So if you're past the level where the speed ups are not necessarily something you need, it's something that you'd like to have, but you're okay with what you have, the next level, in my opinion, are indeed materials. You always want to make sure you have your materials locked up and ready to go. Again, I don't need speed ups, although I did pick up a few, but I do definitely pick up the materials every single time. Our next category is the equipment chests, and we're going to split it into 2, because here comes the trap that I mentioned in the intro. If you've lasted this long, this is when you get to hear about it. So the epic equipment materials are essentially a supplement, okay? You are someone who at this point is trying to get your equipment done quicker. You're trying to get yourself a special talented something and you couldn't get it done, and you really want to get it special talented. You're not going to try to generate that blueprint through time. You're trying to get it done as quickly as possible. Picking up these to potentially get fragments of blueprints of things that you need is really nice. I, as an archers and as an infantry garrison, picked up both the archers and the infantry in my more than gems. for me, it was a matter of I wanted to get certain items out of both of these that would work for both of these, and any piece of fragment that I get, I can supplement it with one of these choose 'em chests that we've been getting quite a lot of. So for example, I am really into getting a Witch's Lineage. I have 18 of these and another 4 Witch's Lineages, unfortunately. But I do want to remake my Revival Plate, which isn't special talented. I have 26 of these to get that done. But if we go take a quick peek at my parts, you'll see that I can also try to special talent my Quinn Soul, which I didn't manage to get done, and I would almost have enough materials to get both of these done. So this is why you always want to get these. If you're looking to go a bit quicker on those equipments, that's when you want to get it, essentially. When you're at a point where a couple more pieces here, a couple more pieces there, I can upgrade again, and I don't want to wait. What is worth and what is not is defined as how much patience you have to get something. In most cases, what you're doing is you're spending gems for time, either directly through speed ups, which literally bring the time down, or by buying these boxes, getting one piece of blueprint of what you wanted, and because of that, you were able to get it done now, and you didn't have to wait for next week's event where you might have not even gotten it. So the third level after the speed ups is, and as speed ups and then materials, it would be the epic blueprints. And that is if you are at a level where you're starting to think about your end game sets. You're someone who has a nice little green, blue, and gray set of equipment somewhere on a couple of marches, and now you're trying to start building your blueprints towards the epics. You can start supplementing with this. Of course, you can at any time go for this. Personally, for me, I skipped the speed ups, I took the materials, and I took the chests. But the trap, the big boy trap, is the legendaries. Now listen, not every legendary falls under this category, because I believe that out of all of these sets, there are a few of these that you can get not through these random chests. So I believe the helmet and the gloves or the shoes, two of these items are available by going through here and picking, not this, going to here and picking them up from one of these types of chests. We have 2 of these, for example. As you can see, Shadow Legions, Hope Cloak, the Milky Way are not chest pieces that are part of the overall big set. These are side legendary pieces of equipment. There are some of these, however, that are not sides. These are parts, I believe these are parts of sets. The Gold Helm of Eternal, Dragon Breath Helm, and so forth and so on. If we go take a quick peek in here, you will see that they are indeed part of this. And so, with that being said, Dragon's Breath Helm. So, with that being said, there are 2 items out of 6 that you can supplement. But the bottom line is there are 6 items in each one of these chests. And you're getting 7 chances at getting 1 blueprint fragment of any of them. In a very worst case scenario of an even probability, you get 6 items, 29 fragments, which means any other chest you open, you're guaranteed a blueprint. That's worst case scenario. That's 6 times 29, which is 174 blueprint fragments, which will run you 261,000 gems or $1,000. Okay, and that's like worst case of even scenario, but actually very good because the likelihood of you fulfilling a set is very close. There's even a worst case. What happens when you buy 500 of these and then you end up getting, let's not get carried away, 500 is a lot. Let's say you buy 100 of these, and out of 100, turns out that you get 42 helmets. So you got a full helmet and then leftovers, and those leftovers are leftovers for a helmet. You can't use them anywhere else, and you also didn't advance the rest of your set. You could reach a level in which you have 2 or 3 helmets, 2 shoes, no chest piece, pants, and no helmet, and no gloves, for example. And you're just buying again and again and again. This is 7 times random generator to hope for dear love that you get the set. This is a trap. This is not something I would recommend anyone to get that isn't in this for a very, very, very long haul. Remember that every single one of these is a week, and every single one of those is seven a week you can get essentially, which means it'll take you 174 days just to get the 174 times. That's half a year just to maybe have 2-3 pieces at the most. And again, for that you need materials. And bottom line, if you're not someone like Baba, Maverick, I would even say lower, like not someone who's huge, not someone who's a massive player, someone who spends a lot in the game. Noon does, for example. I know Hulk used to for a while. Hulk is I don't know how much he spends on this game, but he was a very heavy on getting his equipment, and I'm sure Hulk is investing in that every single week. This is not for everybody. And if you're diluting your brain with the idea of I'll get a few and see what I get out of it, you're wasting gems, because at the end you'll give up and have fragments laying over, and each fragment is going to be 1,500 gems worth. So do not buy the legendaries unless you know what you're getting yourself into, because this is a year's project that's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of gems, and you should be aware of that. The final category is the extras, I call it. The extras are the buffs, the extras are the army expansions, and the reserves. And so in terms of buffs, if you're someone who plays Ark of Osiris at a very competitive level, you're going to need buffs. You're going to need 10% buffs. This is one of the only places, if not the only place, you can get them on a regular. It costs you 600 gems to get a 24-hour attack enhancement and 750 for a defense enhancement. I've picked up a few of each, as you can see, 4 here and 3 there. There's a total of 10 available every single week. And I'm doing it for Osiris League. If you're not someone who's going to fight a very, very competitive fight, or you're not someone who's going to be on Osiris League or in a long-term situation where you need buffs, I would skip these. However, if you're at a point where you need to spend like 700 gems to finish an event or something like that, picking up a few of these is not a bad idea. I have picked up in the past these ones like on a random because I needed to spend a couple of gems for something, more than gems or things like that. And so the buffs are 2 thumbs up. I'm not going to put them in the list of categories. I'll say wherever you need to. Extremely useful. Pretty much the only way you can get them, 60% off. And of course, whenever you have to spend a little bit more gems and don't know what to get, these are always useful. Now, the army expansions, I do not recommend getting out of here. You can get them out of the courier station for 1,500 gems a pop. And honestly, every time you see them in the courier station, and I see them at least twice a week, you can pop them up instead of buying these for 2,500 a pop. I have 20 plus of these, and I've never bought one here. I keep just buying them every time I see them in the courier station for 1,500 gems, 70% off. So I don't buy those. I don't recommend getting those for anyone unless you really, really need them, and then you got to do what you got to do, you know what I'm saying? Finally, the reserves. The reserves are pretty much like, they're a commodity, which is a must if you're in a mega whale kingdom. If you're in a mega whale kingdom and you're competing, usually what ends up happening is your Duke title is reserved for 15 minutes, and that's it. In 15 minutes, when you need to train 4, 5, 6 million tier 5s, and I've seen people training 4 million tier 5s in 15 minutes, the way they do that is with reserves. You don't need to even spend gems. You can do it with resources and speed ups, but you need the reserves to be able to get this done. I don't spend gems on reserves. My reserves come from either buying Call of the Ancient, or if you do KVK, in Kingdom versus Kingdom, you're going to get these as rewards for honor. So you can get some of these for free, and you can utilize them at any time. You can also pile them up for a couple of KVKs, and then you can smash one event or something like that. I don't buy them out of the VIP shop. They're a commodity which I cannot afford. As you can see, I barely have gems that I need anyway. To even further go, and I'm not even VIP 17 for this, but even still, these are strict commodity. I wouldn't get them. So the way we organized this was speed ups to get yourself time. You're building, you're training, you're researching, you're healing. Speed ups are always great. That's number one. If you're at a point where you have enough speed ups for what you need for the near future, you can always switch into the materials and, of course, do both if you can afford to do both. Materials include the epics, the blues every single week. Definitely worth it. From there, we go to epic equipment chests, and that is, again, if you have either, first and foremost, you only skip the speed ups. Materials you should always get no matter what, and only then build up also on equipment chests. If you don't have the ability for both, but you do have enough materials but need more blueprints, skip on the materials. Epic blueprints of whatever you need are very, 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 very recommended. You're cutting time, essentially. And finally, the final recommendation is to get the boosts whenever you can, essentially, whenever it's doable. We didn't talk about one item at the very end, which is the Legendary Commander Sculptures. The Legendary Commander Sculptures is literally a commodity and a lot of time. Legendary Commander Sculptures are precious. 2,000 gems is a very expensive price to pay for them, but it's still cheaper than their value theoretically, and it's one of the only ways you can get them at a constant rate, 20 a week for 40,000 gems. I know people who do that every single week, and I've been doing it for over a year every single week. I only buy these in more than gems. As someone who has done all the researches possible, still have buildings to do, but I have the master blueprint, so I don't need building anything. I have the material, the resources I need by a good amount. I have the speed ups that I need by a good amount, and so for me, it's materials, equipment chests, and of course, speed ups to top off the Legendary Commander Sculptures to top off the more than gems. That's what I think about the VIP shop in general. I would not fall for this pit trap. This is a trap. Trust me, this is a trap. You do want to, however, consider your options for epic equipment. I'm not a fan of resources for gems. Personal opinion, though, it's still better than the shop. And again, you can get these for a cheaper rate, per se, at the courier station, 90% off rather than 80 if you're really, really looking to spend gems on resources. But yeah, you have a pretty clear indication on what to get. Gold keys, skip. You're going to get a bunch of them anyway. Don't waste your gems on gold keys. Tomes of Knowledge, same thing goes to that. You're going to get a bunch of them anyway. Don't waste your time. And also, for the record, the stars, epic stars, and the legendary stars. The epic stars, you're going to get a bunch. You'll see you don't need them. And these are fairly expensive for 2,000 gems. And quite frankly, you're going to get quite a few of these out of gold keys. So if anything, I'd buy gold keys and try my luck to get those, then spend the gems on this personally. But still. Anyway, now you know what to get, what not to get, what to look at, what not to look at. I'm Gekko, I'm out of here. Appreciate everything. Drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get a notification every time we upload a new video, and let me know what you think about my priorities on the VIP shop. What are your priorities in the VIP shop? Let me know. See ya. Have a good one. Peace.